Next car in our road test series, another one that we've just done. 348, 3.4 litre, 8 cylinders, hence the numbers. Built between late 80s, I think it's about 89, 88, 89, through to early 90s, about 93. This one's a really nice one. We've looked after this for several years now. It looks really good in the blue as well. Quite rare, these, surprisingly. We always denote that the early cars are the rare ones, but they only had about 240 of these in right-hand drive in TS's. No, in total it's about 240, but there's only about 15 UK registered right-hand drive 348. So rare car today. Another thing, you can always tell you're in your 80s in the 348. You've got more immobilisers and you've got keys. And I remember fitting all these things. You couldn't get these things insured back in the 80s unless you had half a dozen of immobilisers on them. So a lot of them are still on the cars today. Okay, let's push some buttons and see if we can get it started. They always have a habit of going off in the workshop, these ones, and you woo 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 woo, indicators flashing. Right, let's go. So we've already done, I've actually just been to MOT in this one. So one of the things we do offer the clients is that we take the cars and host them for MOT, because the MOT stations don't really want to get involved with these. They don't understand the quirkiness of the Ferraris and the older cars. So what we find works is we take the cars around, then we stay with the car, we do all the knobs and buttons and bits and pieces, they do all the MOT bits, and then we bring the cars back when they're done. Keeps the cars safe, keeps us that are familiar with the cars knowing how all the knobs and buttons work, and it keeps the MOT guys having to do all his ministry stuff, doing his stuff, and we find that works the best. Customers like it because they know their car's safe, they're not leaving it abandoned in an unknown place. So we've just done that one. So I've already done the wheel nuts, we've done the oil level and everything on this, and it's already up to temperature. Okay, so now we're out the road, just getting things warmed up. As I say, this one's already warm. Quite a lot of design changes. 348, some people don't love them. I think there's nothing wrong with the 348s inherently. So I think it's just the 328, its predecessor, was very good. It was the last of the evolution of the 308, 328 range. And I think the 355 was such a good car that it's got a bit left in the middle. It was quite advanced at its time when it came out with the heater controls down here. Up until this point we'd had like chrome slidey heater controls and choke controls, and suddenly we've got green crystallised displays and things like that. So it was quite again, design of the 80s. This was 80s technology. We've got radios that are hidden under flaps taken from the Testarossa. Basically, because everyone was pinching them back in the 80s, radios were getting stolen, so Ferrari decided to put them on the cover, a bit like we needed 3 immobilisers to stop them getting stolen at the time. Another thing is hard on these things, you're always road testing someone else's car, so you've got to respect it. On the other hand, it's a Ferrari and it needs to work, so without going completely silly, make sure it performs as it should do. Cable gear changes on these as well take quite a long time to get them warmed up and get them going. Again, about 300 horsepower, these things. Not rocket ship quick by today's standards, but back in the day, it's still a Ferrari. What you tend to find is not a lot happens at the lower end, but once you get to sort of 3/4 of the rev range, you really start to get the pull, and that's just classic Ferrari. High revving, back to our flat plane cranks, one harder you drive them, the better they go. So something else we do, obviously going down the bypass at reasonable speeds is one thing, but also going slowly, as I said before, on the carburettor cars, getting the tuning right at the slow speeds. Also, we've got a nice road here that's got lots of bumps and donks on it, so you can go along at slow speeds, just hear the body creaks, donks. Just coming back to work now, so we're going along the slow road, as I call it, for knocks and bangs, checking all the gauges. Everything's starting to move now, all gauges eventually started to move. It's quite cold today. Checking the steering wheel straight. We'll go through the air conditioning and everything in a minute. One of the things we also do on these, because it's got the dry sump engine, you always have to check the engine oil level when it's hot on these. So when we service them, we bring it up to about 3/4 full, and then we do the last sort of litre or half a litre or so once the engine's warm to get it spot on. If you fill them up when they're cold, it's very easy to overfill them. And it's something that does happen. People check their oil when there's cold and say, oh, there's no oil in it, fill it up, and then it gets hot and expands and all comes out the top. So always check them when they're hot. Okay, here we are back from this one. Another one we always do, never trust Ferrari handbrakes. Always leave the Ferraris in gear. These are better than most on the 348s, but some of the early cars are really shocking. Something else that's nice on this car, as I said earlier, this is one of about 15 cars. Super rare, in lovely condition. It's even got the original handbook, so this is really, this is what I like about this stuff. All the original handbooks and stuff in here, all these toolkits. Really nice car there, nice touchback, really good.